It's an EXMARK commercial push mower. It's got a Kawasaki engine on it. It has an oil filter, oversized gas tank, round style air filter. It's got self-propelled drive on it. That's all I know so far. I've got no spark when I bought it, when I got it. No fuel in the gas tank, so I couldn't really fire it up. So I kind of bought it as is, where it is. So I've got an engine oil leaking off of this. So I got to figure that one out too. They wanted $199 and I gave them $125, including tax for it. The cable here is broke inside, so it's not even hooked up. It's broke about probably somewhere right in there. So my goal is to get this thing running. It's got an aluminum deck on it, which is about an 1/8 inch thick, maybe 3/16. So it's a stout deck. Just something different than some of the standard repairs I've done. So earlier when I offloaded it, me and my neighbor, we kind of flipped it over on the kind of the front side to look at the transmission, and it started leaking oil. I'm gonna try to figure that one out. So I got all the oil wiped up. I'm gonna test for spark. I'll probably shoot a little carb spray down here and see if it'll hit, see if it'll lick off the tank. I don't know if you can tell, but it is bone dry. I'm gonna try to clean it out and then put some gas into it, see if we get this thing to run. This is my homemade lawnmower stand. All right, so here's where I'm at. I pulled the cowling, the rewind starter assembly, everything off. I cleaned this thing really good. So you can still see some gunk down in the fins, but I mean, these things were completely clogged up. Off camera, I did test spark. It does have spark. I had to re-gap. Sorry if I can focus. I had to re-gap the coil. So generally just 10mm, no matter if it's Honda, Cowley, Briggs, whatever. Undo the bolts, put a business card in here, slide it back in, tighten them down, there's your gap. So yeah, much cleaner now. I sprayed some carb cleaner down in there and it lit off. So I mean, it at least starts, it's got compression. So yeah, I'm gonna slowly start putting this thing together and try to fire it up. And all right, so look, there's the transmission and all this seems to work. So this is really easy to get to change the belt in here. So I won't actually know if the transmission works until it runs, but I mean, so far everything seems to work fine. So stay tuned. All right, so again, I'll just go over the whole gap in this thing. So 10mm, loosen the bolts, make sure it's kind of not on the magnet. If you want to, you can roll it around. Sucks right down on it. Business card lined up. Tighten it down. And that's it. So, and it's got compression. There we go. Yeah.
Being a bad dog. How's that? How's that? I'm sorry, I could have sat here while I was laughing. I got the thing to hit earlier. Dog came over, he's all wanting to, again, he's wanting to buy it from me, so he's all super excited. So he helped me out with it. Believe it or not, this machine new. It's about $2 grand. Yeah, it was worth the investment for me. So looked it up. Let's see. We shall see. There's that. I think it's that. Yeah, and then that. And you hand me heat. The other butt I was looking for.
So what I didn't show, there's a plate right here that bolts up. See how jiggly this thing is? I don't really like it, but anyways, the plate is cracked. So there's a crack running all the way across it. So, and then there's wings underneath. There's only one on here, so I'm gonna buy a new plate for it to hold this gas tank better. So let's make sure it runs before we buy parts. On and off switch, the factory one off, and I'm gonna run this inline filter. Put some gas in it. And let's try to fire it up. So I'm back on this EXMARK ECXMAR. So notice I got vice grips on here. This is the engine brake, and I've just got this kind of like locked down because the cable doesn't work. So fixing to go into the carb. It runs, but only on starting fluid. It's got fuel. They're still filling the tank from yesterday when I filled it up. Fuel filter, but it's not. So the tank's not bleeding down. So at least the float's working. I tell the float's working. It's not flooding the engine. So I need to take this apart without spilling a whole lot of gas, and then go into the carb and see what we can get into. So when I pulled it apart, it looks like the carb, yeah, see, I think the carb needs a really good cleaning. So I don't have gaskets for Kawasaki's, so I've already found everything I need on eBay. But I'm still just gonna try to clean this thing up. Attempt to clean it. I still have to buy gaskets. So the main gasket where it kind of bolts up to the engine just disintegrated on me, so found those. So the other one that could disintegrate on me is this O-ring inside here. We'll pull this apart and see how it looks. One of the problems with this carb, there's a lot of like gelatinous fuel buildup in here, so this thing definitely needs to be cleaned. Gunk is just falling out of it. Float seems to work, but there's a, look at this, just build up of junk. What a mess. So I'm just gonna put the carb in my parts cleaner and let it sit for a couple days. All right, so eBay showed up with some parts. I guess some carb gasket parts, carb bowl, got a new whatchamanoodle gasket, a couple bolts, and a new Kawasaki air filter. So I've let this carb sit for probably like 6 days in here, just soaking. So let's try to get this thing cleaned up and put back together. Also got a new drive belt in, so just get all this put back together and put some parts on. All right, here we go. Let's fire it up. Carb's on. All right, so here's where I'm at. Got it running. Got the carb rebuilt, or cleaned, I should say. New gaskets everywhere. The valve cover gasket's new. It was leaking out of there. It was dry rotted. These two carb spacer gaskets are new. I got a new bowl gasket on, and I got a new gasket right here. All right, if I can focus on the air cleaner. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I ran it for a while. The drive works, so it turns the wheels. The next thing I'm gonna do is I've got a new air filter, so I'm gonna go ahead and I wanted to run it, kind of warm it up. I had already changed the oil once, but not the filter. So I'm gonna go and drain the oil and put a new filter on it. So basically I just dropped the pan on the machine so I get to the blade belt. I want to change that because I got a brand new one. It's hard to film and do this, so I'm probably just gonna do it all off camera. Here's the new one. There's the old one. So the drive line is in underneath the motor. The rest of it's kind of hid underneath a compartment that you can pull loose. It's got some fingers on each side, and I just got to kind of manipulate the belt down inside of here, but it's really not that bad. So I already got that side on, and I just got to get the cameras in the, oh no, there it goes. Let's see if it'll work. It'll work. Nah, the camera's in my way, so flip to the other side. Hopefully you can see from that angle. So anyways, this belt just kind of rides. See, this cable is broke. I got a new one on the way. Hasn't gotten here yet. So I went to adjust this bolt here, and the one on the other side is going to put brand new ones in. This one snapped off, so I got to drill it out, re-tap it, and I want to change the oil filter. So that's going to be the next thing I do. Let's go and put a new oil filter on it since I've run it. give you much room to work. Alright, so I got a fresh Cali oil filter. The Cali part numbers, there's the part number. Always date mine when I'm putting them on. Put some fresh oil on the seal. Fresh oil filter. So nice and tight, seems to be. Right, let's change the oil. Alright, so I fill the oil back up. I'm gonna run it in a minute. I'm probably going to have to add some more. But another problem I've got on this machine is the handlebars at the bottom. So this one was missing a bolt. And it's 3/8, but I can't get it through. So I'm gonna have to open this up, and for some reason I'm having to re-tap this hole, even though I see the thread. So I don't know what's going on with this. So this is weird. So let me knock this out. All right, so I got this side done. So I re-tapped this one, put a new bolt in, had to pull all this loose, kind of loosen it up. But anyways, that one's good. The other side's gonna be the beast. So the bolt snapped off in here, so I've got to kind of disassemble all this, get it out of the way, and try to drill the bolt out and re-tap it out. So we'll see. It's always something when you're buying used equipment. So I got the new EXMARK cable in. Let's put this on. So I've actually been using these vice grips to bypass the safety controls because the cable's broke. So this is what I'm wanting to replace. Yep. So got a new spark plug in for it. New fuel filter, run some new fuel line. So just gotta put it all together. All right, so I rerouted the fuel system, all new fuel lines, throwing off switches in the same spot. So now I got a fuel filter in line. So there's another problem with that smart mower. This is the gas tank bracket. Bolts to the back of the engine. tank sits in this one little divot right here, but it's cracked all the way through. So I'm gonna try to get that fixed. I also pulled my fuel filter back out. It was leaking on the connection. So the fuel filter, like the nipple that goes into the line, it wouldn't tighten down with this new line that I've got. So I just took it out for now. So there's where we're at. All right, so here it is. I welded the crack up as best I could. And I welded a new tab for the gas tank to sit on. So I'm just gonna paint it and reassemble. So here it is. Got it welded, ground down and painted. Turned out pretty good. Here it is on. It's so much tighter now. There's barely any give. So it's just 3 bolts holding it on. All right, so the tank is on and secure. It's a whole lot better now than what it was. There's barely any play. So I got the new plate on this side a little bit too low, so I got it shimmed up. So this pretty much concludes this video. I got a couple of things to fix here and there, but I'm in no hurry like this. This doesn't pull all the way up. This is bent. This piece is actually very expensive. So I'm gonna wind up taking it off and try to bend it, straighten it all up. What else? I need a new bag for it, but they're like 60 bucks. I'm in no hurry. I'd like to put a new door on here, but it's 40 bucks. And then I got a new air filter coming. All right, so when I got the machine, they wanted 200 bucks for it. I knocked them down to 125 with tax on the door because I bought this at a pawn shop locally. I never see these come up for sale anywhere else. So I just happened to be by there, wheeled in, took a look at it, made a deal with it, picked it up. So as far as what I've got into it right now, just the basics, just to get everything kind of fixed and running, I've got about right at $180 into this on top of the 125. I've got $3 1/4 into this machine right now. So I did look this machine up. No, it was $1,700-ish plus tax. Everything seems to work right now. Fresh oil filter, fuel lines, fuel tank bracket, gaskets, carburetor. Yeah, the blade, I actually sharpened the blade. I put new bolts in the back. I had to tap 2 of them out, put new bolts in. I put new rewind string on here. I do want to get a new handle for it at some point, but that's minor. I get my parts. I got everything mostly off of eBay, a few little bits and pieces off of Amazon. So the fuel filter, spark plug, that kind of stuff comes from Amazon. But all the Kawasaki, just everything I put back on here was Kawasaki part numbers. So all that came off of eBay. eBay's a good source for getting Honda, Cowie, Briggs, whatever, true part numbered items. Oh, and I replaced the drive belt. So this thing is pretty quick. I've never had a machine that will really do wheelies like this one will. So I mean, it will actually lift the front tires off the ground. So I hope you enjoyed. This is an easy project. Anybody can